Grinning Bard Press, LLC, presents Tales of the Bard. Devaultus Was Here, by J.A. Roggie. That gem might as well have been a declaration of war. A few heads turned and whispers ignited. A few patrons even slipped away, their eyes lingering just a little too long on the hooded figure with the sharp smile. He didn't notice. Not yet. His attention was drawn to the strange language around him. He thought it was odd that the signs, the conversations, and even the menus, all of it was readable. He instinctively touched the ring on his finger. Was it translating the local tongue? Tempted again to test it, he resisted, removing a magic artifact in an unfamiliar dimension crowded with unpredictable variables. That was a quick ticket to a death montage. He'd save that experiment for a quieter day, preferably one that didn't reek of incoming complications. Eavesdropping yielded answers, or something vaguely resembling them. The city was called Boulder, Colorado, odd naming structure. Two names, neither of which sounded particularly intimidating. He shook his head, amused by the peculiarities of this world. The more he heard, the more questions he had. Was it a clan? A house? Or maybe a war cry? He caught snippets of conversations about stock markets, college finals, and a reverence for a deity named Norris. After an hour of listening to what could only be described as cultural fever dreams, he rose. His motion was silent and smooth. He was as a shadow slipping between the cracks. He didn't run. Never run unless you're bleeding, but he felt the shift. A few patrons stood not long after him. They didn't follow, not overtly. But they moved. That was enough. Devaultus didn't believe in coincidence. He believed in traps. Stepping out into the night air, Devaultus scanned his surroundings before slipping into a narrow alley tucked between two buildings, seeking a moment of privacy. Once outside, he inhaled deeply and immediately coughed. The stench of moldy bread and stale beer mingled with the sharp tang of urine, a symphony of decay and desperation. The air here was different, thin, like the sky had gone stingy and refused to share. Each breath clawed at his lungs, leaving him lightheaded. The cool night air kissed his skin, carrying with it the faint scent of exhaust and the distant pulse of the city's heartbeat. He glanced down at the ring again, jaw tightening. Was it the source of this strange air, or just another mystery to unravel? "Another test for you, little one," he muttered. "Let's see just how helpful you really are." Looking for a sliver of privacy, he ducked into a narrow alley tucked between two buildings. The shadows were deep here, thick and coiling like old secrets. The noise of the street faded behind a veil of brick and garbage, punctuated by the stench of moldy bread and stale beer. Devaultus took a breath, preparing to toy with the enchantments woven into his ring, and stopped. Of course. He sighed, long and theatrical, not bothering to turn around. Brigands, naturally. Because what's a day without someone trying to donate their teeth to the cobblestones? A faint shuffle echoed behind him, then a chuckle, the kind that thinks it's scarier than it is. "I really don't have time for this," he muttered, pivoting slowly on his heel like he was auditioning for a particularly disinterested stage play. "Well then, come out, come out. Whoever thinks they're intimidating." The alley gave way to 5 men, all radiating that special kind of back-alley bravado, like they'd all just barely passed Intro to Intimidation. The leader stepped forward, tall and broad. He wore a leather jacket that clung to him like it was struggling to contain his muscular form. His smile was all crooked teeth as he cracked his knuckles, each pop a proclamation of his own perceived invincibility. "Well, well, well," he sneered. "Looks like we got ourselves a lost little lamb." "Nice little walk, eh, pal?" he taunted, continuing to cracking his knuckles. "Now, hand over what you got." Devaultus laughed softly, fingers brushing over the daggers nestled in his hoodie and the hidden needles that foretold of a bad day incoming to anyone foolish enough to get too close. His grin spread like spilled wine. "You must be joking," he said, eyes gleaming. "Gentlemen, this is just embarrassing. You brought half as many people as you should have for this fight." He scanned them lazily, eyes landing on one particularly over-eager fellow wielding a pair of sticks connected by a thread of some kind. He didn't even have the common courtesy to bring knives or swords, just sticks. The man twirled them dramatically, the air hissing with each pass. Devaultus tilted his head, perplexed. "What is that?" He pointed, eyes narrowed in mock curiosity. "Some kind of broken pipe flute? A toy for angry toddlers? You trying to perform interpretive dance or beat me into a bard's rhythm?" The thug with the nunchaku smirked, clearly proud of his choice of weaponry. "These are nunchakus, man. They're deadly." "Nunchakus," Devaultus repeated, as if tasting the word. "That's not a weapon. That's what you name your pet chipmunk who broke into the ale and fell off the table in a drunken stupor." He looked genuinely pained. "Are you planning to hit me with them? Or perform a heartfelt solo of some sort?" The thug's face twitched. "You'll see how effective they are when they're in your face, little man." Devaultus's smirk twisted into something dangerous. His voice dropped, casual as a hand in a pocket, but razor sharp. "Oh, I'll see, all right. I'm dying to know if that level of self-confidence comes with a dental plan." The goons around them chuckled, clueless and cocky, not realizing they were already in the prequel to a tragedy. The man with the nunchakus lunged, swinging with more enthusiasm than precision, the weapon humming through the air in a sloppy arc aimed right at Devaultus's head. But Devaultus wasn't there. He was already a step ahead, always a step ahead. In a single fluid motion, a blur of cloth, steel, and deadly intent, he ducked low, his body slipping past the wide arc of the nunchakus like smoke escaping a bottle. A subtle roll of his shoulder, a flicker of motion beneath his hoodie, and then steel. One of his daggers whispered into existence, sliding into his grip like it was born there. Then it struck. The tale continues next week on Tales of the Bard. If you'd like to read the whole book ahead of time, join the mailing list below or purchase the book on Amazon or wherever ebooks or physical books are sold.